The year's most acclaimed thriller novel had just hit book retailers like Barnes & Noble. Master thriller author, New York Times best-selling author David Alexander releases his latest page-turner, Threatcon Delta. The novel thrusts readers into a world of espionage and terror. The Pentagon, the heart of American military might, falls under siege. Alexander's narrative is a white-knuckle ride through the corridors of power. He masterfully paints a picture of chaos and courage. Is more than just a thriller. It's a chillingly realistic depiction of what happens when national security is compromised. The novel quickly garnered critical acclaim. Readers were captivated by its gripping plot and authentic portrayal of military protocols. Alexander became a household name. His book soared up the New York Times and USA Today bestseller lists, solidifying his place in the thriller genre. But success often attracts envy. Alexander's triumph made him a target for trolls. A storm of controversy was brewing, threatening to overshadow his achievement. The controversy surrounding Alexander's Threatcon Delta was not about its content, but about what looked like a brazen attempt to steal it. In 2014, appeared an apparent attempt to tarnish Alexander's success. A copyright was entered for a fake thriller bearing the same title as his. Was it a coincidence? Or was it instead a deliberate act of deception? The copyright was registered under the name Estate of Andrew Britton, a deceased author. Britton, a mass-market writer in a completely different genre, had passed away in 2008. The individual listed as the author of this fake Threatcon Delta was Andrew Britton, cited in the copyright as a pseudonym of Jeff Rovin. Jeff Rovin, a ghostwriter who wrote under several pen names, was listed as the author of pseudonymous work and employer for hire. The plot of this apparent copycat book was as baffling as it was unrelated to the original. It centered around the staff of Moses spreading disease, a bizarre departure from the political thriller genre. A possible attempt to deceive readers could not be ignored. The cover of the fake mimicked the patriotic design of Alexander's original. It also boasted the New York Times best-selling author tag, a claim easily debunked. Mimicry and rip-off as practiced by Publishers Row was in the wind. It looked like a push to capitalize on Alexander's success, using Britton's name posthumously to muddy the waters. The controversy surrounding ensnared a cast of characters. David Alexander, the victim of an elaborate scheme, found himself battling to protect his work. Then there was Andrew Britton, the deceased author whose name was exploited. The John Talbot Agency, a literary agency, was also implicated, having facilitated the transfer of the copyright referred to earlier. Jeff Rovin, the writer named as the author of the fake under Britton's name, became a central figure in the scheme. His history of using pseudonyms and ghostwriting raised red flags. The plot thickened with the emergence of online trolls targeting Alexander and his work with maliciously fake reviews. Negative reviews penned under suspicious usernames began to surface. One such name was Grayson Pierce, linked to an entity using multiple aliases, including David M. Alexander. This seemed intended to further confuse readers and damage Alexander's reputation. This entity, with its web of pseudonyms, had a history of similar activity. Its Wikipedia page, flagged for numerous inaccuracies and lack of verification, should have been quickly deleted. Instead, had remained active for almost 2 decades. Active, and somehow untouchable. The connections between this entity, the John Talbot Agency, and Richard Curtis, Alexander's former literary agent, pointed towards a coordinated attack. The attempted hijacking of David Alexander's Threatcon Delta remains an unsolved mystery. The intricacies of copyright law, the use of pseudonyms, and the motivation behind the online attacks complicate the investigation. But one thing sticks out. It appeared to be a deliberate act to steal from and discredit a successful author. David Alexander deserves justice. His novel, a product of his hard work and imagination, was almost stolen from him. The literary world and thriller enthusiasts in particular must rally behind him. Read Threatcon Delta by David Alexander. Spread the word about this injustice. Let's ensure that the truth prevails and that David Alexander receives the recognition he deserves. The case is a stark reminder of the vulnerability of artists in the digital age. It's a call to arms for readers, authors, and everyone who values creativity to stand against plagiarism and intellectual property theft.